Hello, everyone, and welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Don Julian, and in the news, at least 2 school districts advanced in UIL competition with their one-act plays this week. Sulphur Springs High School Wildcat Theater's production of Emma's Child advanced from UIL one-act play district competition Tuesday to by-district with an excellent performance, according to Lachey Woodard, the director of theater. 4 members of the theater group also earned individual awards for their outstanding contributions to the production. Rachel Bramlett and Antonio Arroyo were awarded All-Star Cast. Chase Berry was awarded Honorable Mention All-Star Cast. Anayela Dela Cruz, the stage manager for the production, was awarded Outstanding Crew Member. Sulphur Springs High School Wildcat Theater students will perform next at by-district competition. That'll be on March 26th in White House. The Como-Picton Theater students' one-act play also reportedly advanced this week to the next level of UIL competition, and 7 students received individual recognition as well. Michaela Tier and Nathan Mincer were honored as All-Star Cast, and Madison Garner was named Best Performer. Troy Mincer, Michaela Hall, Braxton Andrews, and Brecken Story received Honorable Mention All-Star Cast honors. A 64-year-old Sulphur Springs man was jailed Wednesday night for the alleged continuous sexual abuse of a young child, according to police reports. The alleged victim, a child younger than 14 years of age, reportedly made an outcry to a Sulphur Springs Independent School District employee. Child Protective Services personnel and Sulphur Springs Police Department were contacted at around 2:45 p.m. Wednesday, according to Sulphur Springs Police Department Detective Sergeant Jason Renault. An interview was immediately scheduled with the child at the Northeast Texas Child Advocacy Center, according to Sergeant Renault, who was at the facility when the interview was conducted Wednesday evening. Based on information gleaned, a judge was contacted after regular business hours regarding a warrant, according to the police detective. Upon obtaining the warrant, Sulphur Springs police officers reportedly went to the Sulphur Springs residence of Benito Lucio Marino and took the 64-year-old into custody at 9:30 p.m. On March 4th on the continuous sexual abuse of a child warrant, according to Sergeant Renault. Sulphur Springs Police Officer Nick Floyd transported Lucio Marino, who is also known as Benito Marino Lucio, to the county jail, where he remained Thursday morning, according to arrest and jail reports, and bond amount has yet to be set. Sulphur Springs police arrested a 23-year-old Sulphur Springs man just before midnight Tuesday for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was reportedly found in possession of a firearm allegedly displayed and a cell phone taken during an incident reported to have occurred at a rural residence, according to arrest reports. Sulphur Springs police officer Zachary Brown reportedly responded to the call for service at 7-Star Truck Stop, where the alleged victim of the County Road 1111 incident was reported to be waiting for officers. Brown was told the suspect, identified in arrest reports as Michael J. Feltz, had just used a pistol to hold up the other man and take his cell phone at the rural location. Brown contacted Feltz, who was in a Toyota Camry. Brown was reportedly told that the cell phone in question was in his pants pocket. Brown retrieved a phone and secured Feltz into handcuffs. Hopkins County Sheriff's deputies arrived to assist, according to arrest reports. Phelps allegedly told officers he did use a weapon against the victim. While Brown was speaking with Phelps, Fisher reportedly located the firearm in question in the vehicle where Phelps had been sitting, the Sulphur Springs police officer alleged in arrest reports. Phelps was taken to jail for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Phone was released to the alleged victim, Brown reported. Phelps was released from the county jail Thursday on $50,000 bond, according to the jail reports. Well, visitors to Coleman Lake could, in the near future, have more recreational options available to them on site. The Sulphur Springs City Council, during their March meeting this week, agreed to allow a non-motorized sports concession at the lake, according to Sulphur Springs Community Development Director. City officials were approached by a man about offering the additional recreational services at the park. The non-motorized water rides may be hauled in each day that they are offered on a trailer to the site on the bigger section of the lake and made available for rental from about 10 in the morning until 1 hour prior to sunset daily, with the exception of Sundays. Sulphur Springs City Council, during that May 3rd meeting, approved 4 proposed ordinances. Ordinance receiving council approval on second and final readings were annexation only of the city-owned and the former Luminant thermal mine properties into the city limits. Authorization for issuance and sale of combined tax and revenue certificates and related documents to fund improvements to Pacific Park and to a new senior citizen center with interest rates reported to be at 1.79%. A 20-year franchise agreement with Atmos Energy Corporation, which allows the business to offer its services in Sulphur Springs and requires Atmos to pay annually a sum of money which shall be equivalent to 5% of gross revenues. And the 4th ordinance drew the most discussion, but ultimately received the council's approval on first reading at Tuesday's meeting. That involves a curfew which would affect only youths ages 16 years and younger, and the curfew would be from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. weekdays and from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. on weekends. The ordinance as proposed includes a sunset provision which would allow the council to review the ordinance in April of 2022 to determine whether any changes are needed. Otherwise, it would remain in effect, city staff reported. The council also held an executive session prior to the start of the regular meeting to discuss matters related to the city secretary. Then, in open session, the council agreed to give City Secretary Gail Roberts a raise, and Roberts recently earned Texas Registered Municipal Clerk certification. And City Manager Mark Maxwell, in his monthly report to the City Council, noted that the city is having serious problems with blowers at the wastewater treatment plant. 2 of the 3 blowers developed vibration problems and have now become inoperable. There have been some vibration issues since installation last August, and recently the issues became bad enough to render the units inoperable. One of the units is still operating, but there are signs of vibration with it as well. The city manager reported that he's instructed Utilities Director James Jordan to locate a portable blower just in case the city needs it. The city attorney has been instructed to file claims on a contractor's surety bond, the city manager noted in his report. And also from that manager's report, an estimator figured the cost of the proposed improvements for the Grays building in Pacific Park As it is designed, Maxwell reported that cost will be about $1 million. Now, the city is trying to get that down to around $850,000. City employees, he reported, should be able to do the site work. That and a few minor design changes could get the project within budget, according to Maxwell. In about 30 days, the city should be ready, I should say, to either send it out to bid or to solicit qualifications for a construction manager at risk. Duly note that the Sulphur Springs ISD Tax Office, along with all SSISD schools, will be closed next week. That's March 9th through the 13th, and that's for spring break. Sandra Gibby, Tax Assessor Collector for Sulphur Springs ISD, offers apologies for any inconvenience that the closure may cause. And finally, in the news, a Hopkins County jury convicted a 29-year-old alleged gang member, Mario Ladane Cozine, of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon and sentenced him to a maximum allowable punishment of 20 years in prison on the charge on Tuesday. Firearm, a loaded .45 caliber handgun, was located under the passenger seat of a vehicle that troopers had stopped back on February 16th of last year. Cozine was a passenger in that vehicle. After the troopers learned he was a convicted felon, the trooper arrested Cozine for being in possession of that firearm. In sports, the pitching continues to remain ahead of the hitting for the Wildcats playing in the 2020 Raider Classic in Wiley East on Thursday. The Wildcats and Frisco Liberty played to a 0-0 tie. The game was declared over to keep the tournament schedule on time. They might have played all day without scoring. Liberty had only 2 hits, and the Wildcats had 3. The Wildcats made the game's only error. Jackson Cheney threw a 7-inning shutout, allowing 2 hits. Cheney struck out 7 and walked 2. Getting the 3 singles for the Wildcats were Will Sims, Cheney, and Colson Hale. And for the Wildcats, Jace Evans, Cheney, and Aiden Walker drew walks, and Jake Davis was hit by a pitch. The tie gave the Wildcats a season record of 4-2-1. And the Wildcats also played Dallas Lake Highlands. They actually won that game 3-2. We'll have more on that on tomorrow's Channel 18 News. 2 Wildcats powerlifters are heading to the state meet on March 28th in Abilene after they qualified Wednesday at the regional powerlifting meet in Pine Tree. More from Wildcats powerlifting coach Casey Jeter.
We ended up having 9 lifters at the regional meet in Pine Tree, which was good numbers for our school, great numbers for our kids. At the meet, we had Austin McCain in the 114s. Austin had a good showing. Austin came out and he equaled his old total at other meets, which is sometimes a good thing. It was his first time at regionals, and the big lights were on. Very proud of him and all the success he's had, and he's coming back next year. So this year also in the 148s, we had a newcomer, a sophomore, Juan Hernandez. Juan Hernandez came out, had a great showing. He ended up with 8th place, which top 10 in the region. Anything top 10 in the region is wonderful, especially for a sophomore. So he's in a letter for us. He ended up PRing in all 3 of his lifts. Just had a great day. Also in the 148s, we had Jesse Carrillo. Jesse Carrillo's came in 2nd place, and he ended up PRing in his total. At the very end, he had to pull 460 pounds to be able to go on to for 148. That's a lot of weight. He PR'd in squat and bench press. The exact numbers aren't out yet, so I do know that he pulled the qualifying total of 1,200 pounds to be able to go to the state meet, and he finished 2nd place with the medal at the regional meet. It was very, very proud of him. He's excited. He's a senior. He's been working very hard at that. In the 81s, we had 2 lifters. We had a freshman, Matthew Mitchell. Matthew Mitchell had a good showing. Ended up passing one person and getting 10th place, which top 10 in the region. Again, great day for him. He PR'd in every lift. Right. And again, we got 3 more years with him. In the 181s, we had Ryan Carrillo. Ryan Carrillo ended up 3rd place. At the very end, he attempted 520 pounds on the deadlift to be able to hit the 1350 qualifying total, and we just couldn't get it off the ground. But he placed top 3 in the regional meet. He's a junior. He's coming back. Very proud of the kid. He didn't even qualify last year, so he's put in a year's worth of work that really showed off. In the 198s, George Greenway, our big, strong guy. He came in the meet 3rd place, finished the meet in 3rd place. It was a very tough platform. The judges were trying to prove a point by getting them lower than they should have, and that was quite unfortunate. So we hadn't had the numbers like we've had in the past. He had squatted 700 legitly. We had seen that happen. We have video evidence of it. But at this meet, they held him at 620, and he ended up getting it on his 2nd lift. He did everything he needed. He ended up with a 1535 total, which is 135 pounds above the state qualifying numbers, and 3rd place. So he's going on the state. Very proud of him. Top 3, 3rd place. He's got huge ambitions. Right now, he's number 3 in the state. So he's wanting to go to the state meet and get 3rd in the state of Texas. That's phenomenal, and that's where we're attacking. And the 220-pound weight class, we had Chad Menard. Chad Menard came out as a sophomore, worked very hard all year, qualified, ended up in 8th place. Very proud of him. Again, top 10, wonderful day. As a team, we didn't place. I want to say we were 5th or 6th. As a team, proud of the guys. They worked hard, 5th or 6th in the region. Out of 48 schools is pretty good.
It's a hard region, too, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's very hard. It's a very tough region.
A lot of good lifters. So I understand 2 to state. Is that right?
Yes, sir. 2 lifters moving on to state.
Jesse Carrillo
in the 148s. George Greenway in the 198s.
Oh,
yes, sir.
That's good.
Yes, sir. State meets on the 28th in Abilene.
And then you have Lady Cats power lifters Addie Lamb and Sable Erdmeyer are competing at the regional meet in Pine Tree on Thursday. North Hopkins baseball team got off to a good start in a recent game at Edgewood. The Panthers went out in front with 2 runs in the top of the 3rd. They added 1 run in the top of the 4th. They had a 3-0 lead. Well, that lasted until the bottom of the 5th when Edgewood scored 4 times to go ahead 4-3 after 5 innings. Then a 7-run Edgewood bottom of the 6th pushed the lead to 11-3, and that was how the game ended. Edgewood out-hit the Panthers 11-4. The Panthers had the game's only error. The Panthers starting pitcher, Kevin Clement, got no decision, pitching 4 innings, allowing 4 hits and 3 runs, while striking out 6 and walking 2. Bryson Gillespie took the loss, coming in relief, pitching 1 inning, giving up 6 hits and 7 runs, while striking out 1 and walking 2. Tate Myers worked the final inning on the mound, allowing a hit and a run. Myers, Jesse Rivera, Jeffrey Stewart, and Carson Jenkins all got hits for the Panthers. Rivera's hit was a triple. Myers, Clement, and Rivera all drove in runs, and runs were scored by Myers, Stewart, and Robert Perry. And the Panthers did get 7 walks. And that's Channel 18 News. I'm Don Julian. Thank you for joining me, and so long, everybody.